What is going on, fitness coaches? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives, Make Money Online Trainer podcast. It's your boy, B Mark. And in today's episode, we're talking about manifestation. And the title of today's episode is You Manifest Your Own Failure. Now, for those of you that are online fitness coaches that are struggling, right? If you're listening to this right now and you're struggling to pay the bills, if you're listening to this right now and you feel like you can't seem to get ahead, if you're listening to this right now and you feel like your content isn't hitting, people aren't buying on the phone, people aren't booking phone calls with you, and you feel frustrated, this episode specifically is for you. Now, when we experience these tangible outcomes in reality and like the things that we see in front of our eyes are like the bills that are stacking up, are like the frustrations that we have in our coaching business, are that our views are all low on social media. When we see all of these things, what ends up happening is we end up feeling frustrated. How many of you can resonate with that? We end up feeling frustrated. We end up feeling overwhelmed. We end up feeling like we cannot get ahead. And the thing with frustration is when we feel frustrated, what ends up happening is we get this emotional experience in our body. Our body actually has an emotional response. And like when you feel tense, your shoulders tense up. And when you feel anxious or stressed out or frustrated, your body actually has a physiological response. And what happens when you have a physiological response in your gut, in your body, is it starts sending signals to our brain that make us feel negative emotions. And when we feel negative emotions, we end up playing out scenarios in our head. And some of these scenarios are, our content isn't hitting and people aren't booking calls. We start saying to ourselves, like, what if I can't keep up with all these bills? And we start imagining what it would feel like to not be able to pay the bills and to fall further and further behind and fall further and further into debt and feeling like we can't get ahead. And then we start thinking to ourselves, like this next sales call that I have in my calendar, this person's going to say no to me. We start imagining that person having an objection, like they need to talk to their wife or they need to talk to their spouse or they don't have the money or they can't afford it. When we start feeling feelings of frustration, we start thinking to ourselves, like, my content's never going to hit on social media. There's no point in even trying. Like, I don't even know why I'm putting in this much effort. Like, this is overwhelming. It's frustrating. I can't take this. And then we start playing out scenarios in our head, like, I will have to go back to working for somebody else. Guys, we got to stop this train of thought in its tracks. And I want you to understand that the only difference between the people that end up becoming successful and the people that are not successful is the people that become successful imagine positive scenarios in our mind. Now, to illustrate the point of really understanding how important it is to be very cautious of the thoughts that you think and the images that you play and the mental movies that you rehearse, is we're going to talk about gardening. Okay. Now, a garden, a fertile soil, does not care what you plant in it. It will reap whatever you sow. And so I could go out to my garden with dandelion seed. I could also go out to my garden with rose seed. And if I plant both of those seeds, both of those things will grow. The garden does not care what I put in it. The only thing the garden is going to do is it's going to reap what I sow. And so if I sow dandelion seed, I will get dandelion. And if I sow roses, I will get roses. Our mind is the exact same thing. Your mind does not care what you sow. Your mind does not care what you think. However, whatever it is that you think is what you are going to manifest. And so if we're planting seeds of, I'm struggling to pay the bills, I can't seem to get ahead, my content isn't hitting, I can't figure this out, nothing is working. When we think those thoughts and we allow those thoughts to sit in our consciousness, and those thoughts end up making us feel frustrated, we will get more of those things on two levels. Level number one is we will start to notice more of those things because that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for signals that our content isn't hitting. We're looking for evidence that we can't seem to get ahead. We're looking for evidence that we're struggling to pay the bills because we all want to be right. Like, I want to be right. And so my instinctive desire as a human being to need to be right will lead me to look for signals of things not working, which will, like me looking for signals of my content and not hitting and can't seem to get ahead, this will also attract, like a magnet, other situations and other circumstances that will amplify that emotion. You become a manifester of your own failure. This is why people that don't really understand the law of attraction and how important it is, end up failing because the people that are like, oh, I don't believe in the law of attraction, like the law of attraction isn't real. It's not a real thing. Those are the same people that complain, that gossip, that moan, that bitch and complain that their life isn't getting any better. And they wonder why they can't change their life because they don't realize that with or without them wanting to participate, they are active. They're like actively bringing those things closer to them. Every single thing that we say outside of our mouth, everything that we speak ends up becoming our reality. We cannot create a positive life with a negative mind. And the really, really difficult part of this is when the reality that we see in front of our eyes is not the reality that we wish to manifest. It's really easy for us to continue to notice the things that are happening right now in this present moment. What I really need you to understand, though, is what you're seeing right now out of your eyes, the reality that's in front of you, is simply reflection of all of the thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and manifestations that you've had up to this point. It's not a fucking instant process, right? I can't just change my mind right now. And then, if I'm overweight, I'm 50 pounds overweight, I can't just decide that I'm going to be fit. And then the next day I wake up fit. It doesn't work like that. If I'm overweight and I realize, holy fuck, I've let my health go, I need to change my life. I need to make the decision that I want to change my life. Then I need to set the goal of what my fitness journey is going to look like and how much weight I'm going to lose. And then I need to start walking the path of losing that fucking weight. And every single day that I'm walking the path that I'm losing weight, I need to celebrate those little wins. I need to feel good as I'm moving forward. I need to give myself credit for all the success that I'm having on this fitness journey. And if I keep the goal in mind of losing the weight, follow the plan, execute the plan every day, and I don't look back to the person that I used to be, but I look forward to the person that I wish to become, I will one day wake up and be down 50 pounds. It will happen. And we all understand this because we're fitness coaches. That's what we do. But for some reason, when it comes to our own mind, our own consciousness, we are not aware that you can't just decide to change your mind and then right away you get the manifestation. It doesn't work like that. And the truth about success is that you must become delusional. And the reason that you must become delusional is because you need to imagine scenarios that are not happening yet. And you need to convince yourself that they've already happened. You need to imagine scenarios that have not happened yet. And you need to convince yourself that they've already happened. Every single milestone that I've hit in my life, online trainer, I've manifested. Hitting $1 million a month was a decision that I made. I decided that I was going to have $1 million month. I made the decision that it was already done. It was already written. And then every single day I woke up and I imagined making $1 million in 30 days. Every single day. It's going to be I fucking love the feeling that I just made $1 million in 30 days. Oh, I just love the feeling. It feels so good. I love the feeling that I'm bigger than Gary Vaynerchuk. I love the feeling. It feels so good. I'm literally convincing myself of a reality that has not happened yet, and I am acting as if it's already happened. We need to change our thought patterns if we want to be successful, and we must become delusional. And this is the hard part about success is when things are going our way, when content is hitting, when we're in momentum, when clients are signing up, when it just we're just fucking stacking racks in the bank, we feel good. It's easy to continue the momentum of feeling good because when we look at our reality, we can see the evidence of all of the work that we're putting in manifesting for us. If I've been positive and I've been optimistic and I've been grateful and I start getting positive results, it's easy for me to continue that momentum. The challenge of momentum and the challenge of manifestation comes when things are not going your way, when your content isn't hitting, when you're not feeling good, when you're behind on your bills. This is when delusion is an absolute must. This is when you must tap into that delusion and you must imagine the complete opposite. And we need to convince ourselves of the situation that we wish to have manifested. And we need to do this every single fucking day. Every day we wake up and we make the decision on how much money we're making. I'm making $10,000 a month. I love making $10,000 a month. It feels so good to make $10,000 a month. I'm so grateful I make $10,000 a month. I'm so grateful that my content is taking off. I'm so grateful that my team is popping. I'm so grateful that my business is growing. I'm so grateful that I got out of this 9 to 5. I'm so grateful that I'm providing a life for my family. And we just convince ourselves, we plant these seeds day after day after day after day after day. And one day soon, if we keep walking this path and we change our mind, what's going to happen is we're going to start to notice opportunities that are going to get us one step closer. We're going to start to realize, oh, this client actually wants to sign up. Oh, this client is a potential client. Oh, this client that I forgot to talk to actually wants to pay me. Not only will we start to notice opportunities that will get us one step closer, we will also become a magnet for other things that will get us closer to our goals. And in this way, when we decide to take conscious control of the reality that we wish to create, when we decide to become creators of the reality that we wish to create, when we decide to figure out what destination we'd like to get to, and then we convince ourselves that we've already arrived at that destination and we do it literally every single day, we will become manifestations of our own success. And I want to talk to you if you really have a hard time with this concept, because if you think about your failure over and over again, and you think about negative shit over and over again, and you constantly catch yourself feeling down, feeling negative, feeling pessimistic, you are the one that must listen to this message. It is so important for you to do whatever you can do to shift your psychology, to shift your mindset into gratitude, into optimism, into thankfulness. It is so important for you to find a way to feel good, whether that be going to the gym, venting to somebody that you love, joining a mentorship program, getting yourself out of your environment, getting yourself out of your house. It's so important that you get yourself to a place that you feel good and that you're excited about your life. Because if you feel negative because you're thinking about the bills that you can't pay and you can't seem to get ahead and your content isn't hitting, if you feel negative, we think negative thoughts. And so if this is you and you catch yourself manifesting your own failure, you must become delusional and you must make the decision that you are no longer willing to tolerate the reality that you are creating. You must also accept full responsibility for every result that you get in your life. Every single thing that happens to me, you guys, whether it is something that seems like it's outside of my control or something that is obviously within my control, I accept full responsibility for. If I get an unexpected bill that I wasn't expecting, I literally am like, I need to change my mindset. If somebody cuts me off in traffic and it ends up fucking becoming it, I'm like, I need to change my mindset. If I get a negative review on social media or I get a negative review in my content, I'm like, this is a me thing. I accept full responsibility. And then what I do with that responsibility is I find a way to shift myself into gratitude. We are magnets for everything. We are magnets for everything that brings us closer to failure, and we are magnets for everything that brings us closer to success. And the frequency that we emit on a day-to-day basis, the thoughts that we think on a day-to-day basis cause us to be in a certain vibration. And whatever vibration we are in, we will become magnets to that thing. And so if you are negative, pessimistic, full of doubt, full of fear, full of anxiety, you will manifest all of those things. And if you are grateful, you are positive, you are optimistic, you are enthusiastic, you show up with energy and passion, intensity to every single day, you will become a magnet to those things. Whether or not you wish to participate, you are an active member of this universe, which means you are a channel for the law of attraction. And you need to make the decision on what kind of harvest you would like to reap. Do you want to be the person that sows seeds of failure, seeds of doubt, seeds of frustration, seeds of anxiety for your own success? Or are you going to take full control of your life and be the captain of your ship and manifest everything that you could ever want? That is it. That is all. I hope you guys have the best day of your entire life. Make the decision that today's going to be the best day of your life. Make the decision that everything is getting better from this point moving forward. Make the decision that you are going to become delusional about your success and then start creating that reality. Peace. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Hopefully you got some value. If you did, and you want to learn more about how me and my team can help you scale your online fitness business to $10,000 a month, DM me 10K on Instagram at TheRealBrianMark for more information, and I'll reach out to you to see if I can help you grow an online coaching business.